Hi, so this is my blog assignment for week 2. Um, Jonathan Floun's Find Your How. He uses 2 different stories to make a point about finding out who you are, pretty much. The one that stuck with me was the one about the wolves. Basically, it was about a wolf. He was in captivity, and they set him out in the wild again, and none of them remembered how to howl. So, the one decides to, go away from all the other wolves, try to find his howl, and on the way he ends up killing a deer, and he feels like super guilty about it, but the deer understands that's the circle of life, like he needs to eat. So then he comes up to a hunter, and the hunter shoots him, obviously, so he's a hunter, and then at some tribal dance or whatever, he ends up, he's in the middle of the fire, and he finds his howl. And that really, I don't know, it kind of made sense. I know personally when I'm with other people, I talk differently when I'm with different friends. And so, you can get very caught up in the hustle bustle of it all, being with people. So to find yourself, you have to leave society, leave your friends, leave your family, and work on yourself. And I definitely think him, spiritually leaving his body, kind of represented the fact that you kind of have to lose yourself to find yourself, like what's important to you, like your howl. Yeah, so he uses that to explain his point quite well. His point being, let's see what his last name was. We have to trust our instincts, press on, take the help offered to us by the wise ones along the way, being the deer, not be satisfied with achieving anything less than our genuine howl. So he's basically just giving us examples of how we need to find ourselves in the midst of all this, and that we will be a successful person, not only creatively, but also just as a human being in general. Be successful, knowing that we are who we want and are supposed to be. Alright, and now, let's see. See, my favorite quote. I'll tell you my favorite quote. Favorite quote is right here. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. That's a quote by Chili Davis. I actually got that from following someone on Twitter. I don't actually tweet, but, I like to stalk people. It's my thing. I'm not weird. But yeah, no, that would be, I got that to my phone, and I got, chills when I read that. Because, that's how I always felt about life. I still watch Disney Channel. It's awful, but I love it. I like being happy. I love princesses and, Glee, as you can see in the background if this stays a video. I just like being happy, and I think we are all the happiest when we're children, and when we were a child, and we had that sense of not understanding how crazy and hectic the world can be. And I think as a creative person, that could apply to me, speaks to me, is that I imagined things every day when I was a kid. I made up stories all the time in my head. I just sit and watch people and make things up. I do it with my sister out loud when we were at grocery stores with my mom. And I think that that's really I think I need to re-tap into that as a creative person, that I will be extremely successful that way. Yeah. So yeah. This blog should contain summary of one aspect. I'll just talk about the howl again just to cover that, because it's kind of different in the bottom part. But I think what the howl represents, I can speak good English, represents is just when I think of howling, I've never actually howled at anything, but when I think of howling, I usually think of this huge, like, built up, not angst, but just emotion. Just built up emotion, just kind of letting it all out, howling, just screaming, laughing, any, like, loud expression of what you're feeling would be a howl. And I think that when people keep that in, like, sometimes you see business people and they don't look like they even talk that much. Like, they're just so that your howl represents being comfortable with yourself and being in contact with that inner emotion that is necessary as a creative person. Because, I mean, you gotta know how your movie, your music, how anything like that is going to affect your audience, what they're gonna feel. Like with our soundscape assignment, my group had grief, and my partner, he did like the beginning and I did the end. And when I listened to his, I almost cried. I felt so much grief. I felt awful. And I was like, we're gonna get a good grade on this, I hope, because I feel just totally awful right now. But, yeah, I think definitely being in contact with your emotions, with your howl, is a good thing we all need. Yeah, is my vlog 2. Vlog assignment number 2. Okay.